Thank you, Mr. Speaker. By definition, Mr. Speaker, an ambulance itself is a bed. An ambulance is what we classify as a step-down unit. The cart in the ambulance can be considered a bed. So in such cases, a patient can be treated in the ambulance.
Yes. Even outside the ambulance.
Exactly.
Outside the chair. Even at the ward, do you need a bed to attend to an emergency?
No, Mr. Speaker. The patient
so let's move on, please.
Yes, the patient can actually be treated. That is why we have constituted a committee to look into it. And that is why, Mr. Speaker, we are retooling the ambulance service because we need to have the proper equipment in the ambulance, Mr. Speaker. It is not just the bed. Mr. Speaker, it is the bed plus the oxygen, plus the IV, plus the IV infusion itself, plus the monitors, plus everything in the ambulance. Mr. Speaker, an ambulance is not just a transportation device. So, Mr. Speaker, we are retooling the ambulances.
Deputy Minister, I was a minister for health. I know what I'm talking about. Please focus on the issue. The reason was that no bed. That is why we so focus on that. You've done well by establishing a committee to investigate the issue. So let's look at it seriously.
As a ministry, we are taking every step to ensure that such situations never happen in the country. Mr. Speaker, we are retraining our emergency services. Mr. Speaker, we are both training the doctors as well as the staff. We are even training the security in the emergency rooms. Mr. Speaker, we are also extending this into the ambulance service itself. We are going to ensure that all the ambulances have the necessary equipment to save precious Ghanaian lives. Mr. Speaker, this patient could have probably been saved if we had the proper supplies in the ambulance. Mr. Speaker, we are working diligently to avoid such needless deaths of any Ghanaian. And in conclusion, Mr. Speaker, we are again, I would like to express my heartfelt condolences to the family, and I would also like to express my condolences to the rest of the country. Mr. Speaker, under our government, such incidences would not happen. Thank you.
Members, can we take two more from this side of the house? Yes, Honorable
Mr. Speaker, I'm grateful for the opportunity to comment on this statement, and I join colleagues in expressing our condolence to the family of Charles Semisa for this tragic loss. Speaker, I also associate with the calls for a proper investigation to establish exactly what happened. Mr. Speaker, also, let me, on behalf of members of Parliament who may feel like associating with this call I'm about to make, apologize to the family of Charles Semisa for the comments that have just been made by the Minister for Health, which in our view attempts to politicize the matter. This is a matter of a tragic death, a matter that has now been announced as a subject of an investigation. There should be no basis for which at this time the attempts to suggest that it is because the immediate past administration did not finish buildings or EMTs have not been certified. Because if we descend into that arena, Mr. Speaker, we may be tempted to ask what the administration before the last one also did about that. I'm not sure what to hear us talking about today is an attempt to be doing partisan exchanges on this. What is important is that this investigation is done and is done in a credible manner. What is important is that if some wrongdoing is found, the persons who would have engaged in it are held culpable. And more importantly, Mr. Speaker, is an assurance that going forward, the emergency health processes that should take place in our health facilities across the country are very strongly observed. But Mr. Speaker, this happened in a very urban area where medical facilities are available, where medical personnel are unavailable. Can we imagine what is happening in many of the rural where facilities and personnel are in short supply? And so, across the aisle, we have to commit ourselves to ensure that no cedi should be spared in ensuring that facilities and personnel are made available across the country to be able to attend to the health needs of our people. And Speaker, once again, extend our commiserations to the Charles Semisa, but this should not be a matter that is politicized in any way whatsoever. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
I'm so grateful, and just like my colleagues, I would also like to use the opportunity to extend condolences to the bereaved family. Wish them God's strength in this moment of grief. Speaker, at the heart of this whole thing, partly is the response that we often receive from our health practitioners. I recall during last meeting, one dawn I woke up to prepare for a television show, and then unknown to me, I went blackout. My son heard the extent to which I fell and moved from his room to come to our master bedroom. And he managed to wake my wife up. They lifted me to one of the foremost facilities in this country. So when we got there, my younger brother went in and drew their attention. They just told him, send him to another place. So it took my wife to tell them that the man lying in there is an MP. Then they rushed in. So the kernel of this issue sometimes is the discrimination by these professionals. And the discrimination they offer tend to make you and I be victims before the general public. I listened to one of the airwaves, the radio station this morning, and none of us was spared. Speaker, not even yourself. The public holds an erroneous view that we are not doing much. Meanwhile, we are doing at least the best we could under the circumstances. But the response that comes from our practitioners, some of them, leaves much to be desired. And that is what we must focus on. Speaker, I think that the next thing for me has to do with the fact that we have overly concentrated our health facilities in Accra. So, be it professionals, be it equipment, be it tools, most of them are here. So everything that happens in the northern region must come to Kolebu, GMC, and so it makes these professionals also overstretched. And so government must relentlessly look. I am happy and delighted to know that at least under the administration of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, his first tenure, he has demonstrated unyielding commitment to expanding some of this infrastructure. It's not enough. We must admit that we need to do more. And we must encourage the public along that we are not the kind of ruling class that always takes interest in going to London, Germany, America, and all other places to seek treatment. But then we are doing our bit, and we must win confidence. This issue must not be left to go unchecked. I thank the ministry, I thank the government for instituting swiftly an investigation. The outcome must be brought on time, in real time, Speaker, so that we take decisive steps to ensure that this doesn't rear its ugly head. Speaker, I thank you so much for this opportunity.
Yes, honorable member.
Thank you, Speaker. And I would like to commend the maker of the statement, Osahene Alexander Afenyomakin, the minority leader, regarding the passing of Charles Semisa. And let me also express my deepest condolence to the family of Charles Amisa. Mr. Speaker, it saddens my heart. Why? Because about 3 months ago in my constituency, when I was called by the police commander, there was an accident that happened on the Kumasi-Tamale Highway, specifically between Nkenkenso and Akumadan. Right away, I told some people had passed, so we had to rush to the hospital. I'm happy to commend the director of the hospital, Mr. Speaker, because the facilities there, patients were being treated at the outpatient department, and they had to improvise. Mr. Speaker, any one of us could have a cardiac arrest, and it will take between 3 to 5 minutes. If we are not safe, we could pass. And as such, our healthcare system should have a robust protocol that we use in managing health crises or emergencies. We shouldn't have excuse for a life to be lost. That is why His Excellency, our President, said we know how to bring back the economy, but we don't know how to bring back life. Any single life that is lost can never be brought back. And this is not a time as a house to debate, but for us to improve on what the previous government started. If the previous government started constructing hospitals, we should help. The case that I'm referring to in Kinkan, Mr. Speaker, because of that, they don't have emergency unit, and I'm using the small common fund, the 5% allocated, to build a small emergency unit to support the system. Mr. Speaker, there's no way one can see the facilities you have in Kolebu, you have that same facilities in a village in my constituency. But there are protocols with which care systems should have, and the staff should be well trained and to understand what time should you refer. That because there's no bed, so one cannot be treated, is not tenable. And I believe if, for instance, our ambulances, what is the government doing to make sure we can maintain these ambulances and make sure that they are fit for purpose and make sure working, Mr. Speaker?
The honorable member, don't go into those issues, because no government has come to govern this country, and all ambulances are working at all times. Even during the name of the person you quoted, it's the same thing. And that quotation was wrong. Please, when you lose an economy, you lose lives. You don't know that? So when you say you are bringing back the economy, you know how to bring back economy, but you don't know how to bring back lives. The time you lost the economy, you lost, you can't bring back. Please, let's address the issue. What is confronting us now? And stop the politics.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and respectfully, I don't intend to debate, Mr. Speaker. But, Mr. Speaker, the point I'm trying to repeat and to emphasize on the fact that every single life matters, and whatever possible our healthcare system can put in place with respect to the limited resources that we have as a country, how best we can efficiently allocate them and to make sure that all staff and logistics that are in place are put to good use, so that it doesn't matter, because it could happen to any of us. We know there's an issue of hit and run, which I believe the law will take its course. But also, let's assume this this same thing had happened in another village where there's no hospital. What is the protocol? Every hospital, Mr. Speaker, I know there are protocols that one has to follow. Making sure that even all our healthcare professionals or even members of parliament are taken through CPR and sex training. Basic things that even our resources are limited, we can still make use of. Mr. Speaker, we know healthcare within the villages are not there, but healthcare professionals are able to improvise because they have been given more detailed training and have been given the training that every life matters. And we don't want to play with nobody's life, and we don't want to do politics with anybody's life. But we
register for free. 200,000 vehicles online. Get your car straight from the USA and Canada. Financing is available. Auction expert, business you can trust.
Happen to anybody or any member in this. Mr. Speaker, with these few words, I thank the maker of the statement.
Yes, honourable member at the back.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to the statement. And let me also express my deepest condolences to the family of the late Charles Emisa on behalf of all of us, and in particular on behalf of the board and management of the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. Mr. Speaker, I also want to thank the minority leader for this statement. It's very timely, and he has set the tone for us to really examine the issues. Permit me to take us a bit down memory lane to remind us of something that is not too pleasant. In June 2018, it was a 70-year-old man, Mr. Prince Anthony Poku Echampong, who died after visiting 7 hospitals, including a hospital that his company supplies stationery to. He was a CEO of a stationery company, and they supplied stationery to this hospital, and he was turned away. And the explanation or excuse was the same. The then Minister of Health did constituted committees to ensure that this will never happen again. Unfortunately, 8 years down the line, we have a younger person, strong person, an engineer, losing his life to a similar circumstance. Very, very unfortunate. But Mr. Speaker, when we say no bed in the hospital, what actually do we mean? No would mean that there is no physical bed at the emergency. It could also mean that there is no blood if the managers anticipate that patient will need blood, and so they want the person to go elsewhere. It could mean there is no a particular skill. For instance, an anesthetist is not there, and that patient will require surgery. It could mean there is no theater